There we go. I do believe we're live. So I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. Today's stream topic is about this line that's been like echoing in my mind about how you did this to yourself. And that line, you did this to yourself, if someone says that to you, it can pertain to a bunch of things. Maybe you find yourself in a bad situation, and then someone says, you did this to yourself. Maybe you find yourself in over your head, and someone says, you did this to yourself. Maybe you find yourself hopeless. You did this to yourself. Today's whole experience for me has been something I did to myself. And it's so interesting how every single time I do this to myself, the experience is marked by a certain responsibility. Again, we talk about responsibility a lot in this space. But there has been this difficulty in me to reconcile with what I've done to myself. Right? There is this movie that I watched today. Maybe that can add some context. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie from 2006. It's called The Nines. The movie basically follows this character that's crashing out and then is put on house arrest. And then you see, slowly but surely, it's a fantastic day to have a fantastic day. It is always a fantastic day with you here with me. Yes, maximum cheese. Yeah. And it follows this crashed out actor, basically on house arrest, eventually, right? And then the story starts, you start seeing cracks in the story, essentially, right? From the viewer's perspective, watching it through the eyes of the protagonist, which is Ryan Reynolds. And then there's like a second act to the movie. And then in the second act of the movie, you basically get to follow the same character, but as a version of himself that's writing for the actor that he wants to basically play. Or not necessarily like that. He's the writer who basically plays, pulls the puppet strings of all of the characters on screen. But then you follow him as reality TV, this writer dude. And then again, the cracks start to show. And then eventually you find yourself in the last act in the movie the writer was writing about, in which the actor was until he crashed out and became house arrested. Yeah, I know. The movie is supposed to mess with you. That's kind of like the point of the movie too. But close to the end, there is this scene where Ryan Reynolds looks up, and I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, but he looks up at the person doing something to him, and he asks, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me?" And she says, "You're doing it to yourself. I'm not doing anything to you. You did this to yourself." And that line has been the thing that's been with me. Hey, hey, Gobers. Hey, Mojo. It's nice having you here, bro. Sending you so many blessings and lovins. Mojojo. It's nice having you here. Now, I have been having a day. Stevo, Glaze. I like so many. My mind instantly like does like a bunch of. I know it's Stevo, but it's probably not the same Stevo. And then I'm like, yeah, someone else called himself Stevo, and then said Glaze, and then my mind is like, what's happening right now? Hey, Gobbity Goo. Ayo. Hey, Gobs. I'm okay. Yes, I'm totally fine. I did this to myself. That's today's stream topic, at least. That's today's stream topic. How we did this to ourselves. We really did. We done it. We did it to ourselves. Damn it. Hey, sorry, dude. I just moved my arm as you came running. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I had a bad week. We recovering through. I took on half a lion today. gobbledygook. You know, there was a part of me last night that considered fighting two lions by my ace, and then I chickened out because I was scared. And then this morning, I decided maybe two lions at once is gonna be scary, but maybe only half a lion today will be fine. And I think it has been for the most part. I'm kind of okay. I did uh experience. And stop, please. Stop, please. Stop, please. He's eating my scarf. I would appreciate if you to stop doing these. Stay, please. Stop it. Steve, I gotta respect it. Bro seems like a cool guy. Bless. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying hard, right? So you should like deduct some points from my coolness because I'm trying to be cool as well. Uh, uh, let me just see something quickly. Nah, I'm okay, thanks. I'm just my mind is like I had like a multiple tabs open. So the tabs that it had open was the fact that I could read into the Twitch fractal, and there was someone else who said something, and it was nice the thing that was said, but at the same time it wasn't being said. And I'm doing this to myself, this whole second guessing experience I'm having. So I'm going to take a moment and calm down. I'm trying to open my comments as well so I can read your friends instead of having to touch the screen. Thinking always gets in the way of me having a good time in that circumstance. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with thinking as much. The thing that was said. I usually have a problem with becoming convinced of something. That seems to me like the thing that ruins my experience because I like thinking. I like ebb and flowing from one thought to the next experientially, right? Like there is a certain dance that happens within the inner system, right? That can be beautiful, right? Thinking of it like these constellations crashing up against each other, right? Stars flying, right? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But for me, it's when I become convinced again, right? It's like instead of looking at all of the beauty, it's like I'm convinced suddenly that on one of those stars that I'm flicking around, there is actually a civilization around it as a around that star system, right? And me flicking around these stars is flicking them around as well. And I'm not saying I have become convinced of that, but I'm in this analogy, becoming convinced of that, right? That somehow me having my experience is causing harm to others. Boom, boom. Having bad time, I am. But at least that hasn't been the experience today. Mohammed is here too. How are you now? I'm feeling aware. I'm feeling slightly dissociative at the same time, right? And dissociativeness usually registers to me as almost like a hyper real. It's like I'm aware that this is real, obviously, but it's also like there is something behind my awareness of this that is real, that is realer. And I am aware of both of those realities at the same time. So how am I? I did this to myself. Yeah. Bless. I see. I don't know if the other friends that were here earlier are still here, but bless you too. Joe Bad, Lovins makes everything better. It really do. Gobbledygoo, you want to tell us what's been up for you, bro? What happened this week, man? We're here to hear you out if you want to share too. All right, dude. I had a fun time on 0.5 Gs of Monkeys last Saturday playing music with friends. Nearly every trip, I get caught up trying to figure out how to bring some of that indescribable beauty to the rest of society. To convince everyone to just chill and love each other. Yeah. I'm happy that you're saying it in that way. I'm happy that you're saying it in that way because that's my experience too, Gobbledygoo. Right? That's the thing. And again, it's almost like I said it without having to say it, and then you said it for me. Is that as soon as I want to convince, as soon as I want to take like some sort of conviction in me and bring it out into the world, that's when the bad trip starts. Because I feel it is this matter of impossibility, right? It's like you are God, And then you have to reconcile with the fact that you're also this human being on planet Earth that's flesh and blood that needs to eat food and drink water until otherwise it dies. All right. And then in between those two, you basically have this communication that's happening. And that communication is what I believe is art. It's what I believe is you channeling the divine, is you being in contact with the muse. And you can make art in that way, Gabadigo. Right? That's why I make kaleidoscopic flowers, because guess what? I like them. And clearly, there seems to be something psychologically in the human being that likes them too, right? So I am definitely pandering to that part of our species. However, there's no way for me to almost impart the experience that is had for me onto someone else looking at my own art, right? And it is this matter of almost you did this to yourselfness kind of vibes, where because we did this to ourselves, Gabs, and I'm gesturing broadly at all of the work, all of the spiritual exploration, all of the self discovery, because of this thing that we did to ourselves, we have did it to ourselves. And it does make it a little bit harder for us to sometimes get along, you know, but it is something we did to ourselves. For everything you are, while at the same time realizing that everything you are is as a result of everything that has been. And then you, as that, try and be something new again, right? And in this attempt to try and rise above, you feel the weight of reality washing on again you, and then you feel yourself folding back into reality. And then you try again, and then there is this experience within the human being where, as you get older, that ability to try, that energy to try and like push yourself out of the plane of water, gets harder and harder. All right, until you have no energy left anymore, and you just melt into the everything. And then there is at least in me sometimes this battle, this like fighting of like, why am I doing this? And then I was like, but I did it to myself. We're doing it to ourselves, gobbledygook. We're already bringing that beauty into the world, right? I don't know if we'll be able to let people chill out. Jeeps, I wish they could. I wish a person could just witness one of my arts and then just suddenly be washed with like mountains of. I'm imagining like plus 10 enlightenment. Oh, plus 10 enlightenment quickly. Yeah, nice. But no, no, it doesn't have to work like that. You have to do it to yourself. You have to do it to yourself like that, in that way, specifically. Well, I moved last weekend. That was very stressful. I returned to work, and the more stressful things happened. I ended up taking half of the week off, had a project due Monday for school, got it finished, but it was stressful. So the amalgamation of stressfuls overwhelming. But I'm doing what it takes to take care of myself as well. And I feel like I've done well to communicate with my peers without projecting that stress into their being. And I love you so much. And I've been thinking about you and trying to tune in here and there to give lovin's. Goo. Now I'm getting emotional, bro. Yes. I'm okay. I did this to myself. I love you, bro. We got this, dude. Yassi. It does seem to be a sign of the times, right? Stress. I don't know if it helps to remind ourselves we did this to ourselves. I don't know if it helps, but I'm finding some comedy in it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of laughable. It's kind of fun. A little bit fun. Comedy, do you over here making me proud, bless. You always do so much and grow so beautifully. You really do, Gobs. I appreciate everything you do, bro. Know that you are seen. Your efforts will not go unnoticed. Being stressed as a person. think it only hurts when someone else says it to you. That's the wisdom I'm extracting from this. You did this to yourself. It only hurts when someone else is saying it to you. Maybe it hurts a little bit if you say it to yourself as well, but there's a little bit of responsibility that is taken at least. Like, well, here we are. Yeah, most of these stress sources are created by my decisions. So indeed, and that doesn't take away from the stress you're having, Gavriku. And I'm not trying to. At least I hope that that's very clear. Try and make less of the stress that it is you are in fact experiencing, right? Because I also experience stress, a much different stress than you do. Admittedly, your stress, relatively speaking, is probably a lot more real than mine, right? But in the ultimate relatives, there is no such thing. And it's just both of us doing stuff to ourselves, right? God pulling ourselves on our little strings, right? Seeing what's going to happen if we make this chain of decisions. Oh, yes. Let's see what happens. Trying to educate myself as well these days. And the more I become educated on stuff that I was not educated on before, about nothing. And I still have so much to learn. I always have so much to learn. And even when I gain new skills, it's almost like those skills become, I want to say the word trivial. But that might just be, again, something that I do to myself. Uh, Doggo is eating himself. Are we comfortable right now? This is happening. You want to just lay like that? There we go. Yeah, relax yourself. There is like micro droplets falling. But it's not bad enough for me to want to do something about it. But it's bad enough for me to feel it and to constantly be reminded of the fact. Like, yes, it is micro raining. All right, maybe I can show you this. Can you see the little droplets falling? I hope so. Otherwise, that was awkward. Hey, Liam. What's up, Liam? My brain is galactical. It's so big. Expansionsens. I do remember you. Sending your blessings. It's nice having you. Oh my goodness. Yay. Hey, Kiefer. Yeah, most of these stress sources are created by my decisions. Bless you again. Again, I hope, doesn't make your stress any less true. I should. I should move out of the rain. I can feel it falling on me more and more. I can't believe it. You better. You better, Liam. My brain's big, bro. My brain isn't actually just confined in these little spaces, bro. Actually, my brain is keeps going. How are you beautiful humans doing today? I'm doing well, Kiefer. Like even better with friends like you here. Today's stream topic has been about how we did this to ourselves, right? Gesturing broadly at reality as it is right now. And the responsibility that comes with trying to take responsibility for something like that, right? Because you have to take responsibility for the things that's gonna come with you trying to take responsibility. And that is very much this experience, at least in me, of wanting to be better, wanting to do more, wanting to be more intelligent or more capable, more valuable, whatever, right? You add your word here. Like the rain is actually increasing. It's still micro raining, but it's a lot. Goodness. Here I thought it wasn't going to rain. It's just going to be overcast. I'm going to take you inside. I'm home alone right now, so this is my space. How are you beautiful humans doing? I can't believe it. Yeah. All right. None of my things will fall to the ground. Good, good, good. Ouch. Hmm. That's not centered. You see all of those waters. There we go. Can you see the droplets? Totally. Yeah, I'm like gathering my thoughts actively here right now. I'm almost readjusting to the fact that I'm now in a new space, and it's almost like my whole system drives are like booting up again. It's like, ah, yes, I need to now be a human in this space. How to human in this space, particularly? Yeah, and it's still not level. No, sir. So far from. I'm gonna bring this whole table closer to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. There we go. Huzzah. Maybe I can bring us. Yes. Yes, I did this to myself, you know. I'm I'm so painfully reminded of that fact. It's only painful when things don't work the way you think they were supposed to. Right? I think at least. Because if you did this to yourself and everything was exactly as you thought it was supposed to be or is supposed to be, then it's very easy to feel good about that. But if you did this to yourself and everything isn't the way it's supposed to be, then you feel somehow else. And I feel like for me at least, my experience has been this dichotomy of realizing that I get to be okay with nothing, while this other side of me is like, but I'm not okay with nothing because I am a something, right? Does what I'm saying make sense? It's like there are these two parts of you. There's one part of you that is literally not here, as in it is everywhere, as in it is what is done, the underlying energy, right? That is the substrate on which this universe is kind of like on top of. I'm like speaking in circles. I can hear it for what it's worth. How do I explain this to myself? Never mind someone else. Everything in our world runs on energy, right? I eat food, I drink water, I breathe air, and then I can be here. And it is something you have to do to yourself. You have to do that to yourself. You have to eat that food yourself. You have to breathe that air yourself so that you can continue forward. Right? And in that way, like I'm not trying to, at least in my, and I feel like there might be this undertone of like victim blaming. And I'm willing to admit that as well. But I'm more trying to like reach into myself and eviscerate victim mentality in the first place. Right? Realizing that I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim to this whatever. Right? Gestures broadly at everything. We're not victims to it. We are the creators of it. Right? And if we can create something, good or bad, then we can uncreate it as well. Right? And I feel like there is, in that is the true power. I don't know if it's always easy to remember that, especially in a world where you have to continue forward. Right? Again, that part of us that's something, The part of us that something needs to continue putting little somethings inside of their bodies. Right? There's Ginger behind me right now. Ginger is the oldest animal on this farm. I mean, I'm older than him, technically. But if we're speaking in relative terms, how long they're expected to live and how long he's been alive, he's pushing like 110%, 120%. He's like pushing it. He's been like living it up. Right? And he has to, and he is right now, consuming food. He's doing it himself. Right? I like observing our animals. I like watching them and just almost like seeing if there is like a little narrative happening in them as well. All right. And this is anthropomorphization. I'm willing to admit that too. But I have seen a narrative form, at the very least, in my dogs. Today, while I was getting ready for stream, Carlos wouldn't leave me alone. He at one point literally had his little arms, that's another cat of mine, around my leg, right? Like wrestling me while I'm trying to like gather my stuff to do the stream. And then I laughed to myself about this. I did this to myself, right? By being a physical entity in this world, I made it possible for the physical entities in this world to access me. And for me to access them, right? Doing it for yourself as well. Yeah. Proud of you, Gab. So much love. Kiefer and Liam, our follow buddy. Everything is energy. It's what is holding it all together and splitting it apart. Stay the same time. Yeah, the way I'm seeing it is almost like, the underlying energy is consciousness, is the thing that we are, is the thing that is unchanged. And then on top of that is all of the ways in which it can be changed, right? Energy can be transmuted, transformed into something else, right? And we are very much, as a species, attached to that transformational layer. We're attached to that transformational layer. We are that transformational layer. And by being a person, you are doing it to yourself, right? And again, for me at least, experientially, I go through these, let's call them epochs, periods of time, during which I consider things more than others. And usually, more often than not, the world I'm in and the experiences that this world allows me influences those things that I spend thinking about in the epochs. Right? And not all of those epochs necessarily usually have an output of good, right? As in, oh, this is the best. But all of them is this continuation of existence, right? Doing it to myself. I'm like really having a whole thing here right now about like responsibility. Taking responsibility. Taking responsibility. I don't know if you friends think about that a lot. Do you think about that a lot? What are you supposed to take responsibility for? My life, my job, my relationships, my what? The thing my mind is doing right now is it's unfolding this taking of responsibility, and then it's finding within it the impossibility for me to take all of it. Because I'm like, yes. And then the more I take responsibility, the more I realize that in taking responsibility, there are still more things that I haven't taken responsibility for yet. And then I do, and then it reveals that there is. And at some point, I have to realize that I did this to myself. And then I try and almost like find like, where did this start? Right? What was the little seed? Was there a seed? The propagation forward into what it is that's here right now. If I did this to myself, did I know what I was doing? A good, fair question to ask, right? You would think. You would think. Love is true. Proud of you, Gab. So much love. Okay. Hey, Gonzeller is here too. Melty and Kiefer and Beat Boop Cat. Also, not gonna lie, you kind of look like an unemployed yoga teacher. Is that even possible? Technically, I am an employed yoga teacher. If we want to be real about it, I am actually an employed yoga teacher. But yes, I have been feeling like an unemployed yoga teacher. Maybe that's like the energy experientially I'm having on the inside comes in here. Like, yeah, I did this to myself. I did this. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. I am trying to do other things to myself now, but it is definitely a process. If I did this to myself, did I know what I was doing? I don't think I did. To be fair, I think, or maybe I did know what I was doing, but I had to do what I did, not knowing what I was doing experientially, so that I can figure out what to do now. Hey, hey, go and play outside, please. So much craziness, yes, in my environment. I did this to myself, you know. Here I am. Nobody else to blame. My routine, a drop by. Hello. Hope you're doing well, dude. Sending the love. Thank you, Giggle Dog. It's always nice to have you here. We're talking today about you did this to yourself. And I've been stuck, admittedly. Because I'm like, the more I think about it, the more absurd it becomes to me. And it's not like it's something new. It's not like we haven't thought about this before. But it's for me very much the language aspect of it. And I started today's stream topic by talking about that as part of it as well, actually, how usually when we say the words, you did this to yourself, it's usually as it's related to the negatives, right? The bad stuff. Right? If someone is down bad on their luck, right, you might tell them, you did this to yourself. Someone who's at the top of their game, you know, probably doesn't get told, you did this to yourself. Maybe they do, I don't know. But there is this, you know, experience in me of almost like trying to gauge what it is I'm doing. You know, what is it? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm showing up. That you can bet on. I'm making art. Pretty things for people to see. I'm making sure to practice yoga so my body doesn't die and wither away. That's good. Ideally. What am I doing? Am I doing enough? Is the big question that comes up over and over again. That if I did all of this to myself, what will I do to you? All right? You see how this conversation suddenly has more to think about. Giggle, bless you. It is nice having you. I have this whole Dynavap lined up here on the sidelines as well, but I'm terrified of it. How about that? Maybe that's a good reason to actually step into it even more. This might make me even less coherent. I'm willing to take that chance. But I'm also going to just say, I love you. And I appreciate you, friends. And I'm happy I did this to myself. I really am. I'm more just really thinking about all that I have done to myself, good and bad, and how I am the product of all of that. And sure, it's maybe not the ideal way to see it, productizing ourselves, but I am giving this product to other people as well. My friends and family get this thing I did to myself, right? And then we're back to responsibility, full responsibility. Why are you terrified? I'm more not terrified is maybe not the right word. It's just, so let me say it like this, Kiefer. I am an ego, right? There's this MeltMore that's sitting in front of you right now, and this MeltMore would like to be seen as competent and calm and articulate and intelligent, etc., etc. And then I might partake of a little Dynavap. Yeah, look at this sweet little small thingy. And then I might become less articulate. I might say something that sounds silly. You might call into question my intelligence, right? And it's that I'm terrified of ultimately. And I do that to myself. I do that to myself all the time. So it's good that you asked. Thank you, Kiefer. You create the space is something I look forward to waking up and participating in every day. Kiefer, that's so beautiful, bro. Life is living me with purpose and value. Man, I like saying those words, yo. Thank you for giving me the chance to. Life is living me with purpose and value. Feels good to say. Feels powerful. Life is living me with purpose and value. I didn't do this to myself. Life is doing it to me. Right? And life does everything for me as well. Every bit of food that I've eaten, every sip of water that I've taken, every beautiful conversation I've had, life made for me. And I'm here to love life. And I know that, right? That is the thing that I took full responsibility for at the start of this whole space. But I think the part that's almost like jarring me is the fact that it doesn't feel like it is enough to just love. All right? It's like I have to do something about it. Don't just sit there, do something. Don't just stand there, do something, right? Don't just do something, stand there. Oh, how old are you? I am 26 years old, Liam. 26 years old, bro. And I still ain't got any idea what's going on whatsoever. All right. I have some ideas about my life and what the future might be, but really, I ain't got no idea, bro. I'm just taking one breath at a time, realizing that I'm doing it to myself. Love is true, my friend. Love is true, Akash. It's nice having you here. Click, click. I know. I know what the thing is. Yeah, you do. I did teach you about the Dynavap. I want you to stay away from this stuff though, bro. At least until you're like in your 20s. Because it doesn't help for what it's worth. It doesn't really help the hard stuff. It helps more with the fluff. All right. Thinking of it like a big old block of metal. If you are a big old block of metal, and the you that you are experientially can be difficult, hard. That is that block of metal. And then as we get tumbled in life, as we get thrown off mountainsides, maybe there's small little chips, right? Nothing technically shearing off of the block, but there's like chips. And at the real edges of those chips, there are all of those little, almost like fluffy bits. Not exactly fluffy, but fluffy to me, right? The extremities, the edge cases, I think is the way the scientific people say it. The edge cases. It helps with the edge cases. And there is a certain, I think at least, awareness in the block of steel in me that I am fine. Right? It's almost this acceptance of being fine to the point of I might as well do something about it. Right? And my mind is like building a bunch of different examples to try and like make clear what it is I'm saying. It's like a person almost being born in a house of wealth, for example. And there's still that same block of metal, right? But in this house of wealth, the level of polishing that happens on all of the sides, right, is something that is very hard to consider, right? Because if the edge cases haven't developed yet, it's not like you're going to be thinking about it, right? Never the mind having to do something about it. And I'm just thinking about how like our entire species is essentially creating actively every single day, moment by moment, right now, new and new edge cases. Ways in which our consciousness is fracturing, fractaling, I think is a better word, into reality, right? The speed at which everything is happening is accelerating. And again, we did this to ourselves from the perspective of you are a person breathing as this person that is interfacing with something technological. And the technological has with it a bunch of edge cases as well, right? There's so many different parts of the fluff you can find yourself in. And where you find yourself is going to be with how much responsibility you're willing to take. And I fight every day with that. That's the battle inside of me. And it's not something I can ask you to fight for me. It is something I'm doing to myself. All right? That's today's whole stream topic. How can I say the best words? How can I dance the best dance? How can I art the best art to save the world? I don't know if I can. So I start thinking about other ways. And I guess, again, that is also coming back to the whole fractal of we did this to ourselves. It's not always easy to undo things, especially as it relates to stuff, the physical, right? That it will take a lot of energy, like a lot of energy for you to just put this scarf on my head, right? For you to make this scarf, to get the materials, to turn it into threads, to have the technology that can deposit inks and patterns, like yes, the amount of energy. And then just for you to like, after having it created, bring it all the way over and put it around my neck in this moment, right? That takes a lot of energy. That's hard. It's hard to do. And this scarf, relatively to the world, could be worthless. Only valuable because it's mine, to me, right? Maybe someone else might think it's nice, and take it for themselves. But again, in that case, the wealth that will be shared is very, I want to say the word immediate, close. When it comes to the wealth of the world, how do you how do you start? How do you start putting stuff in people's hands? Like my mind is screaming, education, teach yourself, learn, learn, grow wise. Sure, bro. Sure, I'll grow wise. I'll learn. You betcha. You betcha, dude. Zoom, 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 zoom. The pebble is resting at the bottom of the river, and the pebble does not have to do anything. A Buddhist friend said that a lot. That is beautiful. The pebble is resting at the bottom of the river, and the pebble does not have to do anything. Does it help me? Is the first thing that I ask of this koan. Does this help me? How egotistical of me. How selfish. Does it help me though? I think so. I think it does. Right? Gives me at least something to think about as it relates to mass and potential energy in a state, in a system. I think maybe that's in part the fractal that I'm fighting, coming back to that almost, is that I am aware of that pebble and it's at the end of the river in this, and that it doesn't have to do anything. But it's almost like that pebble becomes convinced that there is, like I'm unfolding this narrative in my mind as I'm watching it, because what you're I think is helping me more. The more I think about it, the more it's helping me, because again, I'm still attached to the potential energy in a system and in a state, right? As in that state where that pebble is in that river, it has depleted its potential energy. But there's no less energy. There's no less energy in the total system, right? And I feel the thing that I'm, again, fighting is the part of me that thinks it's supposed to. That's convinced. I'm convinced. I don't even think anymore. I'm convinced. I'm supposed to add value, add energy to the system, right? I'm supposed to pull from wherever that is into this reality, and I have to. And I've had this as like a whole psychedelic vision at one point, where this internal battle, and this was like 2019. I've been fighting with this internal battle my entire existence, where I was thinking about this, and then I was imagining a visualized form of me solving the problem that it seems I'm facing. And it showed me myself as a battery, essentially, right? Where every layer that was attached to me was independent of the layer just below it and didn't add any friction. And because it didn't add any friction, any any input into it was like magnified, right? It was almost like pulleys, but instead of it being pulleys on on the physical world creating torque on the end of it, it was pulleys of a like fourth dimensional reality, and me pushing into reality is like pulling pulleys on this energy system, right? And I was like pushing literally every single drop of my beingness, like every drop of sweat, right? Just like that line it creates on me adds ripples, pulls pulleys, moves energy around in the system. And I'm like trying. I'm trying to be that energy source. And I'm gonna do that to myself. I'm gonna do it to myself because I feel like that's what's necessary. And it doesn't have to look like that, where I'm basically stuck in a machine. Fortunately, right? So there's hope still. Pineapple Cubed. Hey, bro, it's nice having you here too. I see Kristen has gifted us 5 memberships too. Lane actually got a membership. Kunzeller, Jen, Eyes, and Gateway. You got a bunch of our friends sending you blessings. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen, so much. Uh, Cat of a Bug. How's everyone? Even better with you here. I'm having like a whole conversation. I'm unfolding all of the complexities of I did this to myself. I'm like, I'm looking inside of my mind and I'm seeing there's sparks flying and there's sharp edges and there's some parts that are smooth and soft and nice to touch. And some parts don't want your hands anywhere close. Oh, okay. Coming back to it. It's not about any of those individual pieces being good or good enough, but does the sum of your art and work communicate your vision for the world you want to be a part of? That was kind of you, Shadow. It is. It's a good question you're asking, Kiefer. I think it is, right? But like that's where the whole I did this to myself thing kind of like comes and bites me in the ass. Because if I have to come to the conclusion, right, that the sum of my art and my work communicates the vision I have of the world, then I have communicated it, right? At this point, it's almost like I'm repeating myself in that way, right? And maybe there's value in that consistency and that repetitiveness. But sometimes, depending on who the person is and who you ask, not everybody likes doing the same thing over and over again. And it might sound like I'm like, oh, I'm going to give up. No. What I'm saying is more the part of the artist that shows up and creates their art, almost living their life as testament to the life they believe the world deserves to have lived. The only way for that to be finalized is to die as it. Right? That's kind of the conundrum I'm facing in myself. It's where I'm like, actually, nah. Actually, I'm not gonna die. And again, that's the whole fractal of energy. That's the obsession as well. It's like if I this world, right? Otherwise, I'm pulling open too many layers of my own subconscious and psyche right now. There is realness that you emit, Melt, that draws me in. I think you and I see the systems that are hidden in plain sight all around us. We do, but it doesn't help. I feel like that's the part that I'm like really flabbergasted by, Kiefer, is the fact that it doesn't help me. Doesn't help me to be aware. In fact, it seems to actively not help me. Oh, that's just fucking hilarious. Oh, yeah. I'm like feeling this whole fractal unfold, and then there's this version of me that sits in the corner and goes, "You did this to yourself." Oh, that's so funny because it's true. I'm not losing my mind. I hope that's clear. I'm just having this very real human experience right now, faced with the reality of almost like all human beings right? Every smart person that had ever lived, right? And if they were 1% more intelligent than their peers, right? How it didn't help them. It rarely did. It usually only helps the collective. You being smart rarely helps you. You being aware rarely helps you. It usually benefits the collective, right? And that is kind of hilarious, especially as it relates to today's stream topic of you did this to yourself. You know what I mean? If you do, that's impressive. Because I have a hard time knowing what I mean sometimes too. There's a realness. Bless you again, bro. Again, I'm a mirror. I hope that's clear. I've consigned myself to that reality too. I'm here to show you that we're all crazy. I guess I'm joking. I'm here to show you a mirror, like a part of humanity, right? I am as you are, human being on planet Earth right now. And through me flows these experiences as consciousness, and they flow through you too. And as I show you the parts that flow through me, you might see the parts that flow through you, and vice versa. And the more we see one another, the more love we have, right? I love you, friends. Goodbye, Nancy. It's nice to have you here. Thank you, Xiao. Sending Nancy lovins as well. Most people are attuned to other fractals in life in different ways. Yeah, it's true. Right? Like, I would lie if I said there wasn't some kind of. Is the word I'm looking for envy? I don't like that. I don't like admitting that at the very least. But there might be some level of envy in me for people who just kind of got with it. Right? Didn't question reality, just accepted everything. Am I envying? Maybe it's again this what I'm doing to myself fitness. Because in my mind, I imagine if you just accept everything as it is and you go along with what you're told to do and who you're told to be, right? You did that to yourself as well. So it's always my responsibility at the end of the day. I'm rolling it back. I'm trying to like second guess. Like so let me give you the perspective I just had. I was asking this question of, am I envious of those, for instance, my peers in high school that now live their lives, right? Married their wives, had their children, right? Am I envious of that life? And then I had to ask myself, if I'm envious of that life, what is it that I'm envious of? And then for some reason, in my mind, it concluded that in that system, things are okay, right? In the world, in the fraction of reality where I chose to obey, all right, where I chose to conform in all of the ways that I was expected to, is my life better, right? And again, the responsibility that I had to take is in realizing that I am the one convincing myself of that idealized reality that I am envying, right? And that idealized reality, I feel, is just one of success, you know? And success looks like something else to different people. Success feels to me like the ability to actually do things, right? It's like an enabler. That's the way I see success, is that success enables you. And it is something you do to yourself. That's also one of those things that you have to do to yourself. I am willing to grow more able. Coming all the way back full circle to that, becoming an energy center, right? A source of creation. I'm actively rebalancing inside of myself. The internal battle of man. It's been fought since the start of time, huh? We did this to ourselves. Ooh, no, 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 no. Are we still live? We are, Nancy. Sending you blessings. And you see it and visualize it, talking about the different facets of life. And you see it and visualize it, and how it can be optimized and articulated to people who don't see this, but are excited that you share this vision. Because talking about it builds dialogue, and it opens eyes up to possibilities that aren't things they would normally consider. I wish I could stay and chat and listen, but I have to go. It was nice having you here, Kiefer. You might already be on your way. Hello, Eva. You want to come sit on my lap? Like, I know you do. I can feel she has this whole energy of like, I want to sit on your lapness. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I could feel it. It had I want to sit on your lap energy. Nay, there you go. Yes. I did this to myself, the universe says. With a lap on its dog. With a lap on its dog? Yes. The universe says I did this to myself. With a dog on his lap. We come full circle again. It's nice to have you here, friends. Like, we really do have so much responsibility, huh? Like, I'm like tripping out. Like, there's a creature that's really on top of me right now. She looks like a demon in a way. You're not a demon, I know, but you kind of look like one. You look like this like black outline on reality right now. You don't even exist, but you do. I can feel you. And for some reason, you had like so much space all around us, everywhere, and you were like, "Nah, I want to come and sit here right now." We wanted this. We wanted this. There's a certain fullness to it, I believe. I'm saying certain fullness because the only fullness that exists in it is the fullness that you bring to it, I believe as well. Yeah, yeah. Right. Because there is like scritches to be had between me and Eva right now, but there's only scritches to be felt if both of us are here to participate. Right. One scritches receiver and one scritches depositor. Yeah, yes. We did this to ourselves because there's two whole universes here, right? There's two whole gods, and there's a third one down there that's jealous of the fact that Eva is getting scritchums. He's like, "How dare she? She's not allowed to be on the couches." You're not technically allowed to be on the couches. It's true. She's being naughty. She's being really bad right now. She's being so bad. She's not allowed to be on the couches, but she's justifying it by being on top of me. She thinks it's okay. She actually thinks it's okay. She thinks it's alright. She thinks she's doing nothing wrong. She's not doing anything wrong, according to herself. I don't know what to tell you, Kobe. She is, she's Queen Eva. She's Queen Eva on planet Earth right now, looking over her empire. What can I say? I drop my phone and pick it back upside down. Eva looked like a fruit bat. You hear that, Eva? That's awesome. Eva does have that fruit batted look to her. She does. But the upside down probably sealed it. You can't. She's not even allowed to be up here. I can't let you up here. He's like so upset. He's so upset. Don't touch the couches. No touching the couches. Oh, you can't be that dooms. Okay. I think I missed a few. I'm bringing it back. Share this vision because talking about it, yeah. I could stay. I meet a friend a few minutes. Then we'll skedaddle. Sending your blessings, Nancy. You're probably already on your way. What did you repeat? You really can do the same thing over and over again, can you? Do you think about it? No. I'm not. I don't have a problem. In fact, I actually find great solace, great peace in doing the same things over and over again every day. However, I am realizing that me being at peace isn't good enough to bring the world peace. All right? That's maybe a very succinct way to say it, but that is the battle that I fight in myself. Me being at peace doesn't bring the world peace. So what am I supposed to do about that? All right. What am I supposed to do about that, Eva? Can you tell me? Maybe if I'm at peace enough, right, some parts of the world will find themselves at peace with me, like little Eva has chosen, or whatever. But who knows? Hey, there's John here. Hey, John. What's up, bro? I am wrestling half a lion, a baby lion, if you will, today. All right. I woke up, and before I knew it, there was a lion amongst me. And I have been mindfully stepping through my life, considering my responsibility and what it is I'm doing, since I'm doing all of this to myself, right? And realizing that if I am doing this all to myself, then what am I doing to others as well? And if I'm doing to others, will that come back to me, right? If I give Eva or Pippi the bestest head scritches, right? Like it's the fractal of linear versus infinity, or let's say nonlinear, right? It's like, am I giving my own neck scritches right now? Or is there literally two instances, two different linear instances of me, where this version of me that is Eva believes it is, and this version of me that believes it's Melt, right, are different versions of me because of the linear experience that we had prior to it. And I'm not only talking about linear as in the actual lives, right? I lived my life as Melt and she lived her life as Eva, but also that which came before, right? What were we before we were this? Energy, right, Eva? You got so much energy. I can feel you're warm. Your body is outputting energy. No. This is nice. This is actually nice. It's very grounding, having a doggo in your lap like this. Drum beat continuation is the most important part, absolutely. Keeping that rhythm, right? That is what make ideas live and take root. That's why Americans have chosen to elect a leader who is going to inflict harm on as many people. Persistent messaging is incredibly effective. Yeah, it's true. Thing is, though, I've been sharing my message as well this whole time. All right, and it's still I did this to myself kind of scenario, right? Like if you had to say that, if America was a person and you had to tell America you did this to yourself, all right, right now, that is not going to be a friendship building conversation, you know? And there is this real reckoning I feel that needs to happen in all of us, probably, of trying to take that responsibility, coming back to that onto ourselves instead of like pushing it on, all right, again and again. Get fully convinced of the pieces forming an idealized reality you can call success, and then wake up to realize you. Right? And like in that way, again, like, and I said that, Hoopy, I already was successful or whatever, right? What success to me is getting to live a life authentically for my art. And I have done that, right? That was like the most authentic life I could live. But, and I feel like the fact that there has to be a but is problem in and of itself. But me being at peace, again, doesn't bring peace to other people. Doesn't bring peace to the world. So I have to reevaluate. All right. It's not a matter of I can just hold this idea of what success is to me and then wake up the next day realized in that idea. Because the idea of success to me is saving the world. Literally saving the world. All right? The idea of success to me is, again, being able to do things. As I said earlier, that success is an enabling to do more things. That if I felt successful, for me to feel successful, let's say it in that way, I need to be able to do things in the world. All right? And since I feel like I am actively unable to do things in the world, it feels like I'm unsuccessful. Jeeps. One saving the world, please. It's a fucking tall order, dude. Yo. Oh, okay. Get convinced. Personally, the greatest gifts, innocence and undying loyalty. It's true. Innocence is a hard one, though. Innocence. I don't even know if such a thing exists. I really don't know if such a thing exists. Right? And that sounds like something a tyrannical tyrant would say in, killing his own people. I'm sorry. But I'm more thinking about it from the perspective of I remember being a child. And I rarely considered myself innocent. If that makes any sense. Right? Children are wild. They're pretty crazy too. 100% maniacs. That basically figure out how to blend into reality. Slowly but surely. What a trip. Bless you, bro. It's cool to be here with you. I dropped my phone and picked it off the fruit bat fractal. Whoa. Jamie John, long time no see. How does it goes? Heck yeah, hoops. It happened quicker than I expected. This going. Been working hard on the band and music and gigs and all. Hope you're all doing amazingly. It's true. I have seen, like, John is posting on Facebook as well. He goes out to go and do some shows. My microphone's going to be without juice very soon. And we have technically done this for more than an hour. I'm going to show you a flower, read you a poem. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Hoopy puts up fisticuffs. I'll make it make sense. I'm joking, of course. It's for me. It's like leverage, right? It's like I want to change the world. I want to make the world a better place. But the leverage I have to do so is like non-existent, right? It's not that my stick is small, it's that I don't have a stick at all. All right, I need a very big, long stick on leverage to move the world. Very long, very, very long, and a big stick just to get the world to budge a little bit. All right, and right now, I'm still in the process of building myself a staff, let's say. All right, this big pillar of knowledge, of wisdom, of absolute immutability, of unfathomableness. Yes, add your words here, all right? And with that stick, I will walk through the world. I will move mountains if I need to. Have you seen the Pete Holmes skit where he talks about the universe like that? Makes no fucking sense. I don't know if I have. Let me just see who Pete Holmes is. See if I recognize the face at the very least. Pete Holmes. Yeah, I do know Pete Holmes. I can even like hear his voice, right? Like you should, if you see these photos and you know Pete Holmes, you should be able to hear his voice through those photos. Yeah, makes no fucking sense. Yeah. Sorry, I was just getting caught in fucking news fractals. Yes. Hey, is that Melita? Melita, ew. What a stream this has been. We've been like existential crisising, basically, through the lens of you did this to yourself, right? And then unfolding what it is we did to ourselves and why it is I'm doing this to myself. And like, what is the underlying reason for me continuing to do this to myself? And it is basically this desire, let's call it. It is a desire to turn a zero into one, right? To add value where there is none, all right? And to be able to do that on demand, to be able to do that because I decide to make it a thing I can control, like a stick I can hold, right? I actually have been holding on to Melita the stick more these days. It's just since that is the fractal that comes up right now. Yeah. The stick of knowledge has been beating me over the head, I'll tell you. So much love to you. Yeah, we're just about getting started to like do a poem reading, I think. Oh yeah, it's too funny, sad face. You won't find a stick around but your own. I know. It's the point I'm trying to make, so that the stick can grow. Love you all, meow, sending blessings. I've gifted the membership, it's true. I was Shadow, giving you a membership. It is. I respect for something. Respect for something is the way, Melt. Respect for something is the way. I might be missing. I have been gathering so much sticks lately. I love that. Yeah, me too. Me too, Melita. Like the crisis I'm having is in realizing that in this analogy of stick gathering, if I'm gathering sticks as resources to build myself a nest, gathering sticks making art will leave my nest unbuilt, right? And I had to, over the last week, really kind of like fight with myself about that as well, right? And it was very much this unfolding of what I wanted, right? Egoically. And how I would have hoped, almost like as a story, for things to have gone. And today's stream topic is about how I did this to myself, as almost like a counter to the story. And usually, and we talked about it a little bit, that you did this to yourself is said as like a way to put you down, right? Victim blaming, making you feel less than, making you feel unheard or unseen or unappreciated. But the way I'm seeing it is very much so from a perspective of responsibility. Yes, I did this to myself. And I have good reason to, right? And that reason is I want to add value. And it might not make sense. I'm willing to admit that part. I'm willing to give you that, if you will, my insanity. But I don't know if it's going to fix it. Melt is his own grandfather. Don't start with me, bro. Save the world. You do well, bro. I would trust you to save the world. I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. But I might have to become very dangerous too. Right? It's like, what will I become? I will either become something very dangerous or nothing at all. Is the way my mind almost like sees this story unfolding. And like when I say the word dangerous, I don't mean to people. I mean to systems. All right. Especially systems that no longer serve us. And then again, we're back into the problem of it takes energy. It takes a lot of energy to change things. And that energy doesn't exist in the world. Or at least if I'm going to take that energy from the world, I might have to take it from you. So what am I to do? I should figure out a way to create energy, right? To bring energy into this world instead. And that can be dangerous. Gestures broadly at nuclear technology, fusion. Isn't it amazing that some infinities are bigger than others? Yeah, it is pretty amazing. We can layers of extraction ourselves into understanding that subsets and sets of subsets of infinities, larger subsets of infinities caught in smaller subsets of infinities. Not the way it works. Wait, it works the other way around. How about that infinity I just mentioned is infinite enough to contain my incongruencies and all of my factual failings. Yes, infinities. So much love. Save the world. Bless again. But I have also started to grab onto rocks and sticks just to walk like that. It feels right. It does. I'm at least not lamenting the gathering of the stick, but like I'm like imagining my staff being adorned in flowers, and niceties. Like this is like maybe another way to almost like say today's like feeling. It's almost like I have been walking around with this staff, and again this staff. Oh, my microphone's just died. And I'll make this point before I have to say goodbye. Right. Like I have been walking around with this staff. And this staff can be visualized as like all of my skills or all of my knowledge. Right. And this staff of mine seems to be adorned in flowers. And, like nice sparklies. And I'm just trying to imagine it pretty. This staff is so pretty, right? It's the prettiest staff you've ever seen, right? It has like nice windings of wire and there's like details on the sides of it. It's so pretty. And then I have to like step into a world where I have to fight to the death. And I'm like fighting this part of myself that's like, my staff is not made for battle. This is a pretty staff. This staff is supposed to be pretty. And then I see this person running up to me and I have to swing my staff at them. Right? And then suddenly they're on the ground and the flowers that used to be whole are now broken. Right? And I have to cope with what is happening. Right? That's kind of like where I'm at right now. It's like, oh no, oh wow, oh goodness. Please tell me no. Please tell me I'm not in the middle of the battle. I wasn't supposed to fight. But I will. Oh, you didn't do it yourself, since your conscious self, is not capable of changing decisions, only experiencing the consequences of the action done in the past and in the present, and the future actions are fixed in the universe because of the cause and effects. Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of nah. I did do it. Because again, the cause and effects was me too. All the way back. This story resonates so much. Yeah. I love you. I wasn't supposed to fight, but I will. Love is true. Once are fixed. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna read you a poem. I'm gonna show you a flower. Alright. That part's still not gonna change. I can go out and battle to the death, and then I can come back. Take a photo of my blood-soaked clothing. And make art. I hope I would never have to. Jeez. That's gonna be so grim. Fuck, please don't make that be my reality. But I'm willing to. I will not stop making art, at least. Be with yourself and your own growth. Bring your love to your throat flower. Melt, I'm posting shorts on your Facebook page. If you want to check out later. Bless. Thank you. I do want to check out later. I will. Instantly, right? Like my mind is like going down the rabbit hole of seeing myself is very awkward. Shadow. It's very, very awkward, right? Because I am unfortunately aware that I am ceaselessly evolving, right? That this version of me is now more evolved than the version of me that I was just 10 seconds ago. Right? So in that way, seeing a version of me saying something, I cannot not be aware of the fact that there is still so much lack of knowing. And again, that's the dichotomy of being in this space as well, saying things while at the same time being willing to acknowledge my own ignorance. The balance, the ebb and flow in rights. Wishing you all the best, be with yourself. So much love. Shadow Cat, the amount of objectives you used is 19. Still a long way to go. Also, thanks for the membership. Yeah, we have this whole tradition. There's a friend called Shannon. She has a daughter. She lives in New York. She, at one point, would write out these elaborate messages. Sure. Alright, and then we would read them as a goodbye. And even though she might not be able to be here all the time, our friends have made sure to continue that energy. Man, I can like feel the energy coming off of this flower, right? I can see it too. I'm sorry that I had to do that. I just had to be a little bit weird with it. But yes, womp. All right. Wholeness Unbound, it's called. Isn't that interesting? Wholeness Unbound. Just gonna take like a moment just to let that sink in. For me too, right? The way I'm seeing it is almost like what I would consider a bundle of sticks, right? That I now consider whole. That's one whole bundle of sticks. And then it becomes unbound. And that bundle expands. And those sticks goes flying. And it's still just as whole. Even though in an unbound way now. Alien loves spiders. Alien, I see that, sure. Alien loves spiders. Nice. Cool. Wholeness unbound. In the quiet core of my being, a universe blooms without need of the world. No borrowed trinkets, no fleeting treasures can ever stitch together the fractal that I am. I am a galaxy, self-contained, every star a memory, every comet a spark of laughter, pain, and wonder forged in fire. I carry an entire cosmos within, a realm of infinite beauty, fierce and gentle, a truth that no possession can claim. I do not wander in search of fragments, to complete a puzzle already whole. I bring my unending light to the world, adding my full, uncut brilliance to the mosaic of souls that dare to dream. In every breath, I am enough. My scars, my triumphs, each whispered secret, are verses in the eternal song of who I am. I stand complete, a masterpiece not crafted by external hands, but born by the sacred art of living. Let this truth embrace you. You are the universe, unconfined, a luminous force that cannot be diminished by the weight of possessions or the echoes of doubt. Together, our wholeness weaves the fabric of a world reimagined, a realm where each complete heart adds its unique radiant verse to the endless poem of life. Yeah. How about that? The way these poems somehow know what I'm going through the day that I'm talking about what it is that I'm talking about seems to be very surreal to me as well. I mean, I do technically read these poems just as I go to sleep, right? Like, this is basically the last thing I do for the world, right? Before I go to sleep. And I guess it does affect me. Because the way these poems echo into the stream topic seems very surreal at this point. A masterpiece not crafted by external hands, but born from the sacred art of living. Yeah. If my life is a masterpiece, who is it that sees? Those were my first thoughts on that flower. Anyways, bye Melt. See you tomorrow. Love ya. Cheers, Gunzeller. I might finish today's stream on this. I might not even do a horizontal one. I feel like I enjoyed being here and present with you friends today. Maybe make sure I haven't missed anything. I haven't. Yeah. Part of me wants to read the poem again. Right. I feel like every single time I read these poems, it's like there's a different version of me experiencing it and reading it, of course. But it's like, it's a whole new experience to be had. Wholeness unbound. In the quiet core of my being, A universe blooms without need of the world. No borrowed trinkets, no fleeting treasures can ever stitch together the fractal I am. I am a galaxy self-contained, each star a memory, every comet a spark of laughter, pain, and wonder forged in fire. I carry an entire cosmos within, realms of infinite beauty, fierce and gentle, a truth that no possession can claim. I do not wander in search of fragments to complete a puzzle already whole. I bring my unending light to the world, adding my full, uncut brilliance to the mosaic of souls that dare to dream. In every breath I am enough. My scars, my triumphs, each whispered secrets are verses in the eternal song of who I am. I stand complete, a masterpiece not crafted by external hands, but born from the sacred art of living. Let this truth embrace you. You are the universe, unconfined, a luminous force that cannot be diminished by the weight of possessions or the echoes of doubt. Together, our wholeness weaves the fabric of a world reimagined, a realm where each complete heart adds its unique radiant verse to the endless poem of life. Again, a whole different experience. The endless poem of life, huh? It doesn't stop. And we did this to ourselves. It's almost like, it's like you see this like really fast roller coaster, right? And you see people like screaming while they're on the roller coaster. And then you step forward in the line. And then you see people go on the roller coaster and you see them absolutely screaming. And then they get off the roller coaster and you step forward in the line. All right? And then while you're on the roller coaster and you're screaming, you might ask, why? And then we need to reflect on every single one of those steps in those lines, right? Like we find ourselves here ultimately, this endless poem of life. And I appreciate you, friends, for joining me, for being a part of this story. It really is appreciated. By saying, have the most resplendiferous day. I wholeheartedly love you all so ineffably, soulfully, magnetically, marvelously, tenderously, luminously, winsomely, rhapsodically, delectably, serenely, melt, and all of you, oh so effulgent, warm-spirited, nurturing, benevolent, radiant, soulful, magnificent, heartsome, magnanimous, golden-hearted friends who consider we did this to ourselves. I thank you, friends, for considering this. It's not something easy to consider, and I hope that it didn't feel like I was blaming you for being a victim. I hope that today we realize that we in fact are not. And that the part of us that subjects us to this reality is the part of us that's going to make it better. Did you notice how I didn't say maybe, didn't say potentially no? That part of you that is here, that's doing this to yourself, is the part of reality that makes this world a better place. All right. I thank you, friends, for being here with me. It's going dark. But I'll be here with you, friends, in the light. I'll see you again tomorrow, right? Before you know it, I'm going to be on your screens again, like no time had passed at all. Yes. Thank you, friends, for joining me for these moments. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye, everybody. I love you.